Hey everyone, we're back with another Disney and Pixar ranking video. This time I'm gonna rank 7 movies from 2003 to 2007 with my friend 928 Studios Inc. Let's get to the movies. Brother Bear is a movie I expected to suck and be uninteresting. I mean, the majority of people who reviewed Brother Bear said that it sucks. Surprisingly though, I kinda liked this movie. Kenai is a young Inuit boy whose brother Sitka gets killed by a bear. Seeking revenge, Kenai tracks down the bear, but is ultimately transformed into one himself by the Great Spirits. As a bear, he befriends a cub named Coda and embarks on a quest to find the mountain where the light touches the earth, hoping to regain his human form. Okay, now I gotta be honest, this movie had several minuses. Firstly, the story is a mix of good and bad. The whole part with spirits and totems didn't capture my attention at all. It felt really boring and forgettable, but I liked the parts with Kenai's bear transformation. The main character sucks though. He's really the reason his brother dies, and he keeps whining once meeting the bear cub. Only thing I like about him is the ending, since he actually manages to redeem himself by staying a bear for the cub. Speaking of the characters, the only ones I actually like are Coda and Denai. Coda's a pretty sweet side character, like the reveal of the bear main character killed being his mom, and Denai is a nice villain. He keeps hunting the bear, aka the main character, because of thinking that it killed his brother. Sadly, all of the other ones kinda suck, especially the elks, they're bad comic reliefs. Humor here might just be the weakest point. I don't like all the bear shenanigans and only care for serious moments. Animation here is pretty good. I like the bear designs, and the shots of Aurora Borealis and spirits look so cool. Finally, my favorite part of the movie is the ending. The scene where Denai says that Kenai will always stay as his brother is amazing, and the animation makes it even better. I like how we see the ghosts of their brother and mother bear. The song that plays is great too. That song and On My Way are my favorites, but I don't really care about other ones. Overall, Brother Bear is a good movie. It has its share of minuses, but for what it is, I liked it. It's going above Peter Pan. What the fuck is this movie? So, the film is set in the Old West, where 3 cows, Maggie, Miss Calloway, and Grace, must save their struggling farm from foreclosure by capturing the infamous cattle rustler, aka Alameda Slim, who is stealing the cattle across the land. They eventually team up with a horse named Buck and a rabbit named Lucky Jack to stop Alameda. Yeah, this movie's shit. The story is just so uninteresting. I don't care about the cows losing the farm. We just get introduced to the farm and it suddenly gets closed, like there's no depth here. And the characters are even worse, there aren't a single one I like. The main characters are so unlikable, and the villain is capturing cows by yodeling. I ain't making this shit up. And when it comes to the songs, there isn't a single one I like either. All of them feel really forgettable. The animation here isn't good either. Feels like I'm watching an unfunny Looney Tunes movie. I think it looks way too goofy for me to care, and the designs suck as well. Last and the worst element is the humor. There are literal jokes about burping and yodeling here. It's just not funny. What pisses me off the most is how this was one of the last 2D animated Disney movies. How did we go from The Lion King, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and other masterpieces to this pile of shit? Overall, Home on the Range is just plain terrible. I don't want to keep talking about it. Unsurprisingly, the worst movie so far. Dude, at this point Pixar is basically making fun of Disney, cause this movie rules. The story follows the Parr family, who are superheroes forced into living a normal life. Mr. Incredible, longing for his glory days, accepts a secret mission that leads to a showdown with a vengeful fan-turned-villain named Syndrome. With their powers, the Parr family teams up to save the day and rediscover the value of being true to themselves. First things first, the story is so cool. The movie has lots of action, and I love each family member's superpower. Other than that, the concept of how a family of superheroes has to live a normal life is pretty cool too. When it comes to the characters, I think the main family is pretty good. I like all the scenes with Bob's work at the office. The thing I'm not a fan of is the scenes with the family arguing. I don't know if they made that for comedic reasons, but it's not funny to me. The side characters in this movie are even better to me because of how funny they are. Frozone, Edna, the school teacher, and Bob's boss. Bro, the humor here is so peak. The amount of memes this movie generated is a clear proof of that. My favorite joke gotta be "Where's my super suit" scene, really hilarious and memorable. Aside from humor, there's some serious scenes here too. I love the message of family's importance and acceptance of differences. My favorite character here is definitely the villain, Syndrome. I like how his obsessiveness with following Bob as a kid makes him become the villain as an adult. Since he never got the chance to become a hero with Bob, his personality is what really makes me like him, and his death is really ironic. He's the best Pixar villain yet. Lastly, the animation really shines. The superhero designs they gave to the main family is really memorable, and the same goes for Frozone and Syndrome. I also like the designs of characters like Edna and Bob's boss, which makes them even funnier to me. The colors blend well too. I love the cartoony style the characters have, and the contrast of bright and dark with the movie's mood. Overall, my only complaint is probably the family members not being as good as the side characters and the villain. Other than that though, The Incredibles is an incredible movie. It's going above Mulan.
I really took one for the team and watched Chicken Little. God, this movie looks fugly. This is Disney. How could they screw up this badly? I just had to record myself talking about it just like I did with The Great Mouse Detective because I didn't want to find stills or footage of this movie whatsoever. I have nothing really to say about it, nice or mean, because it's just kind of uninspired, the animation is crappy, the story is mean-spirited, and Zach Braff does an okay job as the title character. This is considered one of Disney's worst films, and I can 100% see why. Because this is hard for even me to get through. And I've sat through worse movies. Honestly, go read the original story if you want something less mean-spirited, and watch other reviews that have more thoughts about why this movie is as bad as it is. Okay, now back to your regularly scheduled program. Thanks for having me on the show again, Martin. I really appreciate it.
Cars follows Lightning McQueen, a cocky race car aiming to win the Piston Cup. When he gets lost in Radiator Springs, a forgotten town, he meets locals like Sally and Mater. Through their friendships, Lightning learns humility and the importance of community. Firstly, I want to mention this movie's intro, cause it immediately got me hooked. A major cause of that is animation, and my god is it amazing. Pixar's animation really gets better with every movie. The way how shiny the racing cars look and how rusty older cars are is so cool. I love the designs of Lightning McQueen, Mater, and other cars. It's also funny how this movie implies from the start that this is a movie about cars, like even the flies in this movie are drawn as cars. One of my favorite parts about Cars is definitely the humor. There are lots of jokes here that I laughed at. A huge reason is Mater. He really steals the show here, having both hilarious and sweet moments. I love the redneck voice they gave to him, and his relationship with McQueen is really pleasant. Speaking of McQueen, his character development is pretty similar to Cusco. He starts out as an arrogant car who only cares about winning, but gradually becomes more humble and kind. I love how by the end, instead of winning, he chooses to help the other car called King, who got screwed over by Chick. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned that the villain here is a green car Chick, and he's basically a complete schmuck from the start. I'm glad that despite winning in the end, the audience fucking hates him. I also wanted to mention the side characters because there are some pretty good ones. I like Doc and his backstory of being a famous racer. It adds well with the ending of the movie. There are also some funny ones like the Italian cars, and Sally's a decent love interest. My only complaint is that some jokes aren't funny and the pacing here is slow, like the movie could have been way shorter. Overall, Cars is a great movie, and I'ma just say it now, it's likely gonna be the best in the franchise, above Toy Story. Lewis, a young inventor, seeks a family after getting adopted as a baby. He meets Wilbur, a time traveler, and together they embark on a journey to fix a time machine and disrupt the villain. Along the way, Lewis discovers the Robinson family and learns valuable lessons about family, perseverance, and the importance of embracing failures as a part of the path to success. Okay, now I gotta say, I expected this movie to end up being awful, but unexpectedly, I liked it. Now firstly, animation here sucks. I can't deny it's not looking good, especially in comparison to what Pixar was doing at the time. The textures suck, and I think the design of the villain was way too hideous. Another minus was the time traveling stuff. Like, there's no way the future would change so drastically in like 20 or 30 years. In addition, there's several time traveling paradoxes. Now for pluses, I really like the story, how the main character travels to the future and meets Wilbur's family, only for it to be revealed that it's actually his family. I really appreciate how at first Lewis wants to meet his mother who abandoned him as a baby, but eventually realizes that it doesn't matter to him anymore. My favorite characters here are Lewis and his roommate Goop. Dude, the reveal of Goop turning out to be the villain was so sick. I hadn't thought of that, but was genuinely shocked to see it happen. When it comes to Goop, I think I really like his character for how funny he is. The humor here is really nice. I didn't anticipate some jokes being so hilarious. Aside from the humor, I like the song that plays in the end. I don't think other songs are great, but that last one was really beautiful. I think everything that happened after the plot twist made this movie better for me. The ending in particular was wonderful. Lastly, the message of moving forward was without a doubt my favorite part. Overall, Meet the Robinsons is far from perfect. I don't like the animation, time traveling aspects aren't accurate, and I only enjoyed 2 characters here. However, I still didn't regret watching it and thought it was pretty good. I'll put it above Lady and the Tramp. Ratatouille is a masterpiece. I love everything about this movie. Ratatouille tells the story of Remy, a talented rat who dreams of becoming a chef in Paris. He forms an alliance with Linguini, a worker at Gusteau's restaurant, and together they navigate the culinary world to prove that anyone can cook. Right away, I adore the story. The concept of Rat becoming a chef sounds so absurd, and yet it works because of how likable and determined Remy is from the start. He's definitely my favorite character here. That being said, I still love characters like Linguini, Gusteau, Ego, and Colette, who acts as Linguini's love interest, and to be honest, I think she's a pretty good love interest. I like how working together makes them progressively fall in love. That factor makes Linguini's reveal of lying about cooking himself even more effective. The relationship between Remy and Linguini is great, with the latter not being able to cook by himself, and therefore hiding Remy under his hat to cook for him. I also really like the villain here, aka Skinner. He does his best to sabotage Linguini for taking over, and that results in several funny moments. I think the humor here is really nice. It's not constant and happens abruptly, if that's how you could describe it. And aside from the humor, there are some serious moments too, like the one where Remy and his brother Emil almost get shot, or when Remy's dad shows him the rat corpses, telling him to stay away from humans. Another advantage is the animation, and my god, it looks stellar. The atmosphere of Paris is so breathtaking. The way some of the shots were drawn is wild, especially since this was made almost 20 years ago. I really enjoyed the designs they gave to the rats and humans. Oh, and obviously the food here looks nice. Ratatouille in particular makes me want to try it one day. What further makes this movie so good is the music, more specifically the main theme. I didn't mention this before, but so far these Pixar movies don't have songs compared to Disney. They only have the main theme, and I think it sounds absolutely fantastic in Ratatouille. I like the main themes of Toy Story and Monsters Inc., but this is my favorite so far. Lastly, I wanted to talk about some side characters like Gusteau and Ego. I like Gusteau for his quote of everybody being able to cook, but Ego might just be my second favorite character. The whole ending part was him trying to Ratatouille and reminiscing of his childhood is so iconic. I absolutely love the quote that he says towards the end. Not everybody can become a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere. I could say some additional stuff, but I think it's already obvious. Ratatouille is a masterpiece, top of the list. What an interesting section, man. I mean, we literally had the worst and the best movie in this one video. As I said before, I'm giving my main and most important thoughts about these movies, so don't feel disappointed if I left one particular detail about one of the movies. Anyway, that's all for this section. Shout out to 928 Studios Inc. for helping me with the video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next ranking video. Goodbye.